What's up, boys?
I've got it tacked in place now. It came together really well with the bends that we put 2 bends in it, basically like the bottom piece. It is a little bit further out towards the door. That way it almost sits at like an angle when you're sitting in the seat. But I wanted it that way. A lot of doors are like that. I'm not cutting my doors, like the inside of my doors out to have like NASCAR door bars. I'm just going to basically take off the panel, the door panel, and then I plan on putting a black ABS sheet, like a door card here. It'll look really clean, and I can just shut the door, and it sits perfectly on this top door bar so far. So you can see how I got it tacked in place here. It's looking great. I'm working on putting my 3 braces in. So I've measured my center point, same distance away from my first and third brace. You want them to look, well, you don't have to, but I want mine to look symmetrical, you know, evenly distanced apart. I think it'll look the best that way. So we've got it tacked in place. We're working on those braces now. Can kind of get a top view here. And I'll show you what it looks like in the back. So it's just tacked in place. You can see it runs right next to the door, or the chassis. Perfect. So for my braces in between the lower and top door bar, you just take a tape measure, measure that distance. I got some spare tubing. I've already notched it on both ends, and then we're going to slide this into place. Something I've been working on is the driver's side upper door bar. We've got it bent. I just need to notch both ends and then make some relief cuts to get it to fit perfectly where I want it. I will show you a little surprise that we've also been kind of waiting on, excited about, and by we, I mean my family, my wife and I, and our kids. I will post that in a second, but real quick, I got to touch base on this because my eye looks messed up. This one, my left eye, and that is because I made a mistake and I did not wear glasses on what I thought would be a simple wood cut, circular saw cut. The first cut and a piece of wood went in my eye, and for about 12 to 13 hours, even after going to urgent care, they didn't fix it, didn't see it, which is another story. But My wife was able to find it at like 1:30 in the morning last night, thank God, and we got it out of my eye. So my eye's messed up because it's just been agitated. So, long story short, I knew better. Please listen. Always wear eye protection, even if it's just a simple cut that you've cut 1,000 times. Always use protection. I'm an idiot and everything's okay. My vision's good, but it's annoying. Okay. So the next surprise that we've been excited about, and we've already been in 3 days worth. We got, insert picture. Two Belgian Malinois, a boy named Creed and a girl named Mila, and they've been amazing so far. We've had them like 3 days now. My friends are breeders, and they made us a deal we couldn't pass up on some beautiful dogs. If you know anything about Belgian Malinois, they're something. They're super smart, very protective. They're just a great dog if you can train them and raise them the way you want. You got to be an invested owner. Yeah, they're just amazing. So if you don't know what they are, Belgian Malinois, go ahead and look them up. They're basically a German Shepherd on steroids. And we have two, and they're great so far. So it's good. It's fun. It's been fun. All right, so I've marked where I want to notch the tubing. So those are the cut lines we're going to do. I mark a center line, and then we got the bottom notches. Now these look kind of shallow, but once I cut the first cut, I'll adjust and go deeper if I need to. Okay, so we were working on the back brace, but I miscalculated and made it a little too short. So I've already started just cutting off, remeasured, and we're going to use it for our middle brace because that's a little bit shorter distance there. So you can see I've got it notched in here, but it is not where we want it to line up. We still got to get it down about 2 or 3 inches. So what I'll do is I'll keep cutting and trimming this notch or this notch, and it'll keep sliding that way. So that's why you only cut a little bit at first. You can always cut more. You don't want to cut too much the first time. So I do want to show you this bar here. It's just a pickled and oiled tube is what they call it at the mill. Pickled and oiled, it basically is a rust preventative thing. So what I do to prep this though, before I paint it or weld, I use, it's like a Scotch-Brite prep pad. I'll show you what it does here. Alright, now you can see the difference. Nice prepped, clean metal versus the pickled and oiled finish. So I'll do this before I weld every tube, every joint, and then before I paint. And I'm using the Steel It gray paint on my roll cage. It's a good rust preventative, basically all-in-one paint. So that's what I'm using. Alright guys, we're working on the front door bar brace. There's 3 on each side. So we're finishing these up. I've marked T for top, B for the bottom, just so I know, as I'm notching this and relief cutting it, I know which side I'm trying to cut and grind. So we've made our notches. They're not perfect, but that's what you get with a 3-inch cutoff wheel, and just basically sanding. So that is something I'll say. Having the right tools makes a job go easy, faster for one. I definitely don't have all the tools that I need, and it's really slowed up my progress on the build because it takes so long to do what I need to do. Something that I think I should have originally bought is a tubing notcher, or at least just the jig to use a drill that would notch the tubing. Just spend the $100 and some to get one. I think you can get one maybe from Harbor Freight. That should work fine. I have not bought it yet. I hate to kind of buy one now when I'm almost done with the project, but I could use it down the road, so I'm thinking about buying that. I think it would help me a lot. Maybe a bench sander would help as well, just so I could use the tubing and sand it. Technically I had one before. I left it in Ohio when I moved just because you can't take everything. Next time though, try to take as much as you can. I have somewhat learned that lesson, but there's just so much stuff to move. But anyways, let's keep going. Door bars are in, well, welded in. I just got to paint the last part of it, and we are good. God, I've been working on this for a minute, but finally pushed through, got these door bars in. I think they turned out pretty sick, especially for my first cage. This is my first cage, and if you've been following along, I think it's been going great so far. So I'm really just a hobbyist welder. Never bent pipe before, or tubing pipe, never bent it before. Learned a lot so far. Highly recommend building your own cage if you're able to. I think I'm only in maybe with the welder, the tubing, and a bender. I'm definitely under $2,000. I think the welder was $1,100. Harbor Freight, Omni Pro 220, Vulcan Omni Pro 220. It's a multi-process welder, and I've only MIG'd with it so far, but it's been great. I wanted the Miller, but I saved myself about $1,500 going with this, and this has been fine, so I don't regret that decision at all. Maybe one day when I get, more money, I'll upgrade to the Miller, but this has been good. So welder, $1,100. The tubing, stock car steel and aluminum in North Carolina. If you are close, I highly recommend them. Great pricing, quality material. They source stuff for the NASCAR Cup teams and dirt late model teams, just anyone who races. So they have quality material. That's who I got the tubing from. I probably got, I'll just say $500 in tubing. I could have spent less, but I've messed up a couple bends and learned some stuff. So $1,600 there, plus Speedway tubing bender behind me right there in the yellow. That was like $450, and it came with a 1.5 inch tubing die. So that was, we're sitting at about $1,900, something like that, $2,000. So that's not bad. A cage kit for this car and other cars, tubing roll cage by Cage Kits, it's like at least $2,000, and you still got to weld it in yourself. So you'd still have to have a welder. So I've done all this. Granted, it's taken me a little longer, but I've learned a lot, and it's coming out great. So I'm happy. So thanks for watching.